every night at 3:33 a.m. Her listeners hear the same voice on a frequency that doesn't exist.
It started with the first email. A woman named Diane Marsh wrote to me on a Tuesday night, just after midnight. She said she'd been dreaming the same dream for 3 weeks straight. In it, she was driving down a highway she'd never seen before, and her radio was locked on a frequency that didn't exist. The numbers on the dial read 1,620 kilohertz, and at exactly 3:33 in the morning, a voice came through the static. Not music, not a station ID, just a voice, reading words she couldn't quite make out. She said, the voice sounded like mine. I get strange emails. That's the nature of hosting a late-night radio show. Then, the second email came, then the 5th, then the 20th. Every single one described the same dream, the same highway, the same frequency, the same time. 3:33 a.m. And every single one said the voice sounded like mine. I read a few of them on air, half as a joke, half because I was genuinely curious. I told my listeners that if anyone out there was dreaming about a dead frequency at 1620 kilohertz, I wanted to hear from them. The responses flooded in. Hundreds of them. People from towns I'd never heard of, places scattered across the state, all describing the same impossible dream. And then someone wrote in with a detail that stopped me cold. They said the voice on the frequency wasn't just similar to mine, it was mine. Word for word, phrase for phrase. They said I was reading something on that frequency, something I hadn't said yet. I laughed it off, I had to. But that night, after the show, I sat in my car in the parking lot of the station and I thought about it. U seg too, N for C quartz. I pulled out an old frequency directory I kept in my glove box, the kind the FCC used to publish. I found the entry. 16:20 a.m. Licensed to a place called Harlan Ridge. Status: decommissioned. The tower had been shut down in 1987 after an emergency broadcast test that, according to a handwritten note someone had scribbled in the margin of the directory, went wrong. I drove up there the next morning. The road was barely a road, more like a suggestion through the trees. The tower was still standing, a rusted skeleton against the gray sky. The building at its base was padlocked, but the lock was old. It gave way with a little effort. Inside, the equipment was still there. Dusty, silent, dead. Except for one thing, a reel-to-reel tape machine, still plugged in, still warm. I pressed play. My voice came out of the speakers, but I had never recorded it. I had never been in that building. The words it spoke were phrases I use on my show, the way I introduce songs, the way I say goodnight to my listeners. But they were arranged differently, strung together in an order I would never use. It was my voice saying things I had never said, and it was looping endlessly, waiting for 3:33 a.m. I left. I drove home. I didn't tell anyone, but the next night on air, something happened. I was mid-sentence, introducing a song, and I heard it. Beneath my own voice, underneath the music, there was something else, a second layer. My words, but not my word. I kept talking, kept the show going, but my hands were shaking. When I checked the recording the next day, the second voice was there, clear as anything. It was reading the same phrases from the tape in the tower, and it was getting louder. Listeners started calling in. They said they could hear it too. They said their radios were picking it up even when I wasn't on the air. their phones, their baby monitors, their car speakers. My voice coming from everywhere, saying things I didn't remember saying. I went back to the tower. The tape was still running, but now there was a new recording on it. My voice reading the exact words I had said on my last broadcast, word for word. As if the tower had been listening, as if it had always been listening. I destroyed the tape. I pulled the plugs. I smashed what I could. I drove away, and I didn't look back. That was 3 nights ago. Tonight, I'm sitting in the studio. It's 3:30 a.m. The red light is on. I'm about to go on air, but I can hear it already. Beneath the silence, beneath the hum of the equipment, there's a voice. It's mine. It's been mine all along, and it's not coming from the tower anymore. It's coming from me. Good night, listeners. Stay tuned. The frequency is always on. The signal never stopped. It just changed frequency. If you felt something watching back, subscribe before the next broadcast begins.